So today, I thought I'd make Philly cheesesteak Negimaki. So, for this, I have a piece of flank steak, about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds for every 4 adults you're gonna be feeding. And I put this in the freezer for a few minutes. That makes it a little easier and more stable for you to paper thin slice it. And really, you're just shaving it on an angle into these really pretty paper-like pieces, right? Then what you're gonna do to make the surface that you're rolling on is to just shingle these right next to each other. So the thinner you slice, the more even this will be. Don't worry if it gets a little bit thick on you. If you've never done this before, you might have slices that are a little bit too thick. You could put a little piece of parchment or plastic over the top and just give it a few taps with your meat mallet, and it'll be easy for you. So this would be one roll. You see, you thinly slice the meat and you make a little rectangle, and that's what you can wrap and roll and stuff any way you like. For a Philly cheesesteak, of course, I wanted some peppers and onions, so I'm gonna get my skillet nice and hot here with a fat amount of olive oil. And you can use bell peppers, but I love Cubanelle peppers, these Italian frying peppers, light green and super mild, and they cook up to be really soft and tender. So they're a really terrific pepper to use for rolling things because they kind of go with the flow. You know, they break down a little quicker than a bell pepper would. So your mild pepper, you're gonna split it lengthwise, and I just take it over to the garbage bowl and just gut it. I don't bother to do the thing with the paring knife and the pull out the top and all that. Pain in the butt. Just cut it down the middle, rip it out. Then I just stack them right on top of each other and run your knife through so you're thinly slicing. To go along with this, we're going to serve a little potato salad. Always when you make potatoes, start in cold water, cover them by 2 or 3 inches with the cold water, put the lid on the potatoes till they come to a boil. Once they come to a boil, lid off and stays off so the pot doesn't overboil, and you add a lot of salt. Potatoes love salt. So then we're going to add our peppers and onions into our big old skillet and let them start wilting down. You want to get these guys nice and tender and soft, so medium to medium-high heat. If they start to brown, turn the heat back a little because you want them to develop a nice sweetness and you want them to get nice and soft without burning. So we're going to add, because it's my Philly cheesesteak, garlic, because I add garlic to everything. A little garlic down in there, and then salt and pepper. And I'm also warming up a little beef stock. We're going to use beef consommé, which is just beef stock with gelatin in it, like the roasting of the bones. The gelatin comes out into, it's such a really meaty stock. You get it right in a can on the soup aisle. So beef consommé or beef stock, we're gonna warm that up. We're gonna douse our hot potatoes with a little of that stock. And we're also going to use it as the dipping sauce for our Philly cheesesteak rolled steaks filled with provolone, peppers, onions, garlic, delicious. Once you cook down your peppers and onions and garlic, you let them cool, and then you're going to line your thinly sliced layered steak. We're making Philly cheesesteak rolls. So you line them with your peppers and onions. And then you're gonna top them with provolone cheese. Guys, it's just cheese, okay? Line them with cheese, a little bit of pickled hot cherry peppers, Italian cherry peppers. That's a woman after my own heart, whoever she is. And then you just wrap and roll these little suckers. And then you tie them up with the little shoelaces. He's like a supersize. I made a fat boy. And then you tie him up. Now, before I put these in the pan, I take a dish of them like this, and I douse them with a little marinade. Worcestershire, and a little bit of soy sauce, wink and a nudge to the Negimaki. And then I get the cast iron skillet screaming hot, and you just throw the rolls right into the skillet. And they only take a few minutes on each side. You just keep rolling them around. They'll be done in like 8 to 10 minutes tops. And then we're gonna take them out of the skillet and add the rest of our beef consomme to the skillet, and that's gonna become our warm dipping sauce for our cut rolls. That's about as many as I can fit in there. And I'm gonna give a little extra drizzle of olive oil on top, so when we roll them around, there's enough fat in the pan. Now, while that's cooking up, we'll finish our potatoes. So, to our halved baby potatoes, I also threw in here some crushed garlic and let it cook right along with the potatoes. And then we're going to, let me grab a spoonula here. There we go. While they're still hot, my grandpa used to do this. We're gonna take a little beef broth or beef consomme and douse the potatoes with it. And while the potatoes are hot, they're like sponges. They're gonna suck up the flavor of the beef stock and the flavor of the vinegar and olive oil, and it's just gonna like soak it up like a sponge. Splash of white balsamic or white wine or red wine vinegar, whichever you have in the house. Oh, wrong one. Olive oil. That's my high temp cooking oil. This is my EVOO. Good olive oil. So they're already garlicky. Salt and pepper, of course. And then I like a lot of rosemary in this. Oh, rosemary. So they're rosemary warm potatoes with beef stock and olive oil and vinegar. They're yummy, really yummy. When you pull your little Philly cheesesteak Negimaki out, let them cool for a couple minutes so you can handle them, of course. Meanwhile, we're gonna take the pan with all the drippings from cooking the meat rolls and add the rest of our beef stock or beef consomme in there. And a little shake of oregano, a little shake. And that becomes our dipper sauce. So we need to lift up all of those tasty bits from the bottom of the pan. Just give it a little zhuzh. And we've got all that flavor up from the bottom. So we'll put that into a dipper dish. Turn that off. Pop that onto a board or a big platter. And then you just surround it with the cheesy meat stuffed with the peppers and onions for your dipping pleasure. It's kind of a fun fusion of beef Negimaki and a Philly cheesesteak, and it's a great little gluten-free dinner.